Hey y'all, welcome back to the archives. Today's story is going to be a doozy, so I hope you're prepared. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let's begin. Lori Vallow Daybell. Once a loving mother, now convicted of murdering her children, Tylee Ryan and Joshua J.J. Vallow. Her journey from doting parent to alleged killer is paved with bizarre beliefs and suspicious deaths. Lori insists on her innocence, making outlandish claims from behind bars. Join us as we delve into the disturbing case of Lori Vallow Daybell, the Doomsday Mom. From prison, Lori Vallow Daybell claimed Jesus showed her visions of exoneration. She alleged her daughter Tylee murdered J.J. before taking her own life. Prosecutors presented a chilling case of a mother consumed by a dangerous ideology. Despite the evidence, Lori remains defiant, clinging to her claims of innocence. Are these the ramblings of a delusional mind, or is there more to this story? Tylee Ryan, a vibrant teenager, and her younger brother J.J. were inseparable. Tylee's infectious laughter and J.J. quote,'s mischievous twinkle brought joy to their family. They shared simple childhood joys, from building sandcastles to whispering secrets. Their bond was unbreakable, their futures full of promise. Two beautiful souls now tragically lost. September 2019, Rexburg, Idaho. Tylee Ryan and J.J. Vallow vanished, leaving a community in shock. The search for the missing children garnered national attention. Family and friends clung to hope, but a sinister truth began to emerge. A darkness lay hidden beneath the surface, shattering the community's hopes. On June 9, 2020, the remains of Tylee Ryan and J.J. Vallow were found on Chad Daybell's property. J.J. quote,'s body was wrapped in plastic and duct tape, buried in a shallow grave. Tylee's remains were burned and dismembered, a testament to the callous disregard for human life. The discovery shattered any lingering hope, replacing it with profound grief. The idyllic image of their childhood was forever tainted by this brutal reality. Investigators uncovered a scene of unimaginable cruelty on Chad Daybell's property. The children's remains were meticulously documented, revealing a callous disregard for life. The prosecution presented a case built on forensic evidence and expert testimony. The evidence pointed unequivocally to Lori and Chad's involvement in the murders. The children's bodies were casualties of a calculated and cold-blooded act. The image of J.J. Vallow, wrapped in plastic and duct tape, haunts the nation. Forensic experts testified about the deliberate cruelty inflicted on the young boy. The duct tape and plastic bags added to his terror and suffering. J.J. quote,'s burial spoke volumes about the callous disregard for human life. A child who deserved the world was discarded like trash. Tylee Ryan's remains were found charred and dismembered. The fire was intentionally set to erase her existence. The dismemberment was a calculated attempt to conceal the crime. Forensic anthropologists faced a heartbreaking task analyzing her remains. Tylee's fate was a testament to the depths of human depravity. Lori and Chad's lives were consumed by doomsday prophecies and fringe beliefs. Lori's transformation was fueled by Chad Daybell's apocalyptic teachings. She embraced his prophecies with a fervor that bordered on obsession. Lori's behavior became increasingly erratic, driven by fear and paranoia. Her faith warped into something darker, detaching her from reality. Lori and Chad believed in zombies, individuals possessed by evil spirits. They felt justified in taking extreme measures against these perceived threats. Lori and Chad ranked individuals on a scale of light to dark. Those deemed dark were considered expendable, obstacles to be removed. Tragically, Lori's own children fell victim to this twisted ideology. Lori and Chad's apocalyptic beliefs justified their horrific actions. They saw themselves as righteous warriors on a divine mission. Chad's teachings provided the framework for their actions. Lori embraced his pronouncements with terrifying zeal. Their crimes were rationalized by a twisted ideology, believing they acted in the name of good. Colby Ryan, Lori Vallow Daybell's surviving son, has become the reluctant face of a family shattered by tragedy and torn apart by the unthinkable. Thrust into the spotlight by his mother's horrific crimes, Colby has had to grapple with the unimaginable loss of his siblings, the arrest and trial of his mother, and the public scrutiny that has relentlessly followed his family. Colby's pain, raw and palpable in every interview, every public statement, is a stark reminder of the devastating ripple effects of Lori and Chad's alleged crimes. He is a son mourning the loss of his brother and sister, a brother robbed of the chance to grow old with his siblings, a young man forced to confront the dark reality of his mother's actions. In the wake of Tylee J.J's disappearance, Colby became a vocal advocate for his siblings, using his platform to plead for their safe return. He appeared on national television, his voice trembling with emotion, urging anyone with information to come forward. He clung to the hope that Tylee and J.J. were still alive, that they would one day be reunited with their family. The discovery of their remains, however, shattered that hope, plunging Colby into a depths of despair that few could comprehend. He was forced to confront the horrifying reality that his mother, the woman who had brought him into the world, was now the prime suspect in the murders of his beloved siblings. As the investigation into Tylee and J.J's deaths unfolded, Colby found himself grappling not only with the loss of his siblings, but also with the unsettling transformation his mother had undergone in the years leading up to their disappearance. The Lori he knew, the mother who had once showered him with love and affection, seemed to have vanished, replaced by a stranger consumed by fanaticism and delusion. Colby has spoken at length about the changes he observed in his mother after she met Chad Daybell. He describes a woman increasingly isolated from her family and friends, her once vibrant personality eclipsed by a growing obsession with apocalyptic prophecies and fringe religious beliefs. He recalls conversations that left him deeply troubled, conversations in which his mother spoke of zombies and dark spirits, her words tinged with a disturbing conviction that sent chills down his spine. He tried to reason with her, to pull her back from the brink of what he sensed was a dangerous descent into madness, but his pleas fell on deaf ears. Lori, once a source of comfort and stability in Colby's life, had become a source of fear and confusion. The woman who had always protected him, who had always been his fiercest advocate, was now the very person he felt compelled to protect others from. Perhaps the most heart-wrenching aspect of Colby Ryan's ordeal is the realization that the mother he knew, the mother he loved, is gone, lost to the depths of her own delusions. In her place stands a woman accused of unspeakable acts, a woman who seems incapable of remorse or empathy, a woman who has shown no outward signs of grief for the loss of her own children. Colby has struggled to reconcile the image of the mother he remembers with the woman now on trial for murder. He has spoken of his mother's love for Tylee and J.J., of her unwavering devotion to her children. But those memories, once a source of comfort, now serve as a painful reminder of all that has been lost. He has made attempts to visit his mother in prison, hoping to find a glimmer of the woman he once knew, a flicker of recognition behind her vacant eyes. But those visits, by all accounts, have left him heartbroken and disillusioned. Lori, seemingly detached from reality, clings to her claims of innocence, her pronouncements a chilling mix of religious fanaticism and delusional grandeur. Colby has expressed his belief that his mother is mentally ill, that she is not fully in control of her actions. This belief, while offering a glimmer of explanation for her alleged crimes, does little to ease the pain of his loss. His mother, whether through mental illness or a descent into evil, is gone, leaving behind a void that can never be filled. Throughout the investigation and subsequent trial, Lori Vallow Daybell has maintained an unwavering insistence on her innocence. However, her claims have taken a turn from the conventional pleas of not guilty to something far more unsettling and deeply intertwined with her apocalyptic beliefs. In a series of pronouncements that have left legal experts baffled and the public bewildered, Lori claims to possess divine knowledge, asserting that Jesus Christ himself has revealed her innocence to her through visions. These visions, she asserts, paint a drastically different picture than the one presented by the prosecution. She claims that Jesus has shown her the truth, that Tylee and J.J. are not dead, but are living in a realm of spiritual bliss, having ascended to a higher plane of existence. She claims to have been privy to their joy, their laughter echoing through the veil that separates the physical from the spiritual. These pronouncements, delivered with an unsettling calmness and unwavering conviction, have done little to sway public opinion in her favor. If anything, they have solidified the perception of Lori as a woman detached from reality, lost in a labyrinth of her own making, her grip on sanity slipping with each passing day. The prosecution, for their part, has dismissed Lori's claims as the desperate ramblings of a guilty conscience, a calculated attempt to manipulate public opinion and cast doubt on the overwhelming evidence against her. They argue that her visions are nothing more than a desperate ploy to evade accountability for her actions, a smokescreen designed to obscure the horrifying truth of her crimes. Lori's claims of exoneration extend beyond her own supposed divine intervention. In a shocking turn of events, she has pointed the finger of blame at her own daughter Tylee, accusing the deceased teenager of murdering her younger brother J.J. before taking her own life. This accusation, as shocking as it is, aligns with Lori's belief system, which categorizes individuals as either light or dark, with those deemed dark considered expendable obstacles in the path of spiritual enlightenment. Lori alleges that Tylee, under the influence of dark forces and possessed by a malevolent spirit, became a danger to those around her. She claims that Tylee, consumed by darkness, took the life of innocent J.J., her actions a chilling testament to the corrupting influence of evil. According to Lori, Tylee, realizing the gravity of her actions and consumed by guilt and despair, chose to end her own life, her suicide a tragic consequence of her possession. This accusation, as outlandish as it seems, has added another layer of complexity to an already convoluted case. Prosecutors have denounced Lori's claims as baseless and deeply offensive to the memory of Tylee Ryan. They argue that Lori, unable to face the consequences of her own actions, is attempting to shift blame onto a deceased child, a young girl who cannot defend herself against these horrific accusations. Lori's attempts to deflect responsibility onto her deceased daughter have been met with outrage and disbelief by the public, and have further solidified her image as a manipulative and callous individual seemingly devoid of remorse. The prosecution, armed with a wealth of evidence and determined to seek justice for Tylee and J.J., remains undeterred by Lori's claims, their resolve strengthened by their belief that the truth, no matter how disturbing, will ultimately prevail. The question that continues to plague investigators, legal experts, and the public alike is whether Lori Vallow Daybell genuinely believes the outlandish claims she has put forth, or if her pronouncements are nothing more than a calculated defense strategy, a desperate attempt to manipulate the narrative and sway public opinion in her favor. Those who subscribe to the theory that Lori is delusional point to her increasingly erratic behavior in the years leading up to the children's disappearance. They cite her obsession with doomsday prophecies, her belief in zombies, and her pronouncements of divine revelation as evidence of a mind unhinged, a psyche consumed by a dangerous cocktail of fanaticism and paranoia. Others, however, believe that Lori is far more calculating than she appears. They argue that her claims of innocence, her visions, and her accusations against Tylee are all part of a carefully constructed facade, a desperate gambit to avoid accountability for her crimes. They point to her history of manipulation, her ability to charm and deceive those around her, as evidence that she is capable of great cunning and is willing to go to extraordinary lengths to protect herself. Whether Lori's pronouncements are the product of genuine delusion or a calculated defense strategy remains a matter of debate. However, one thing is certain: Her claims have added another layer of complexity to an already perplexing and deeply disturbing case. A case that continues to grip the nation and raise profound questions about the nature of faith, the power of belief, and the depths of human depravity. The tragic case of Lori Vallow Daybell has left an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of all who have followed its twists and turns. Tylee and J.J., their bright smiles forever frozen in time, have become emblems of innocence lost, their names etched in the collective consciousness as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of childhood and the devastating consequences of extremism. The idyllic community of Rexburg, Idaho, once a haven of peace and tranquility, now bears the weight of this tragedy, its residents forever haunted by the knowledge that such darkness could unfold in their midst. The ripple effects of Lori and Chad's alleged crimes extend far beyond the borders of their small town, shaking the foundations of faith and family, forcing us to confront the uncomfortable reality that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places. For Colby Ryan, the surviving son and brother left to pick up the pieces of his shattered life, the pain is raw, ever present. He has been robbed of his siblings, robbed of his mother, left to navigate a world shrouded in grief and shadowed by the specter of his family's horrific legacy. The quest for justice, for answers, for some semblance of closure continues. Lori Vallow Daybell, whether driven by delusion or guided by a more sinister agenda, remains an enigma, her motives as murky as ever. The legal system, tasked with unraveling this tangled web of deceit and depravity, faces a daunting challenge, one that will likely continue to captivate and confound for years to come. As the legal proceedings continue and the world waits for answers, it's important to remember that at the heart of this tragedy are two young lives tragically cut short. Tylee and J.J., their laughter silenced, their potential unrealized, deserve to be remembered not for the horrific way in which they were taken, but for the joy and light they brought into the world. May their story serve as a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance, of questioning those who claim to possess ultimate truths, and of protecting the vulnerable from those who seek to exploit and harm them. May their memory fuel our collective determination to create a world where such tragedies become unthinkable relics of the past, a world where childhood innocence is cherished and protected. The search for justice for Tylee and J.J. is not merely a legal pursuit, it's a moral imperative. It's a commitment to ensuring that their story serves as a beacon, illuminating the dangers of extremism, fanaticism, and the manipulation of faith. As we grapple with the complexities of this case, let us not forget the human cost, the lives shattered, the futures stolen. May we honor the memory of Tylee and J.J. by striving to create a world where love triumphs over hate, where reason prevails over delusion, and where every child is afforded the opportunity to live a life free from fear and violence. If you're still here, thanks for joining me. Please make sure to like and subscribe because it greatly helps with the algorithm. I appreciate it more than you know. See y'all next time, and as always, stay curious.